this is how like I love people so much that I only believe members of the Church of Christ are Christians. Like all of the other people in these denominations aren't Christians. They just say they're Christians. They may be like they may be honest, sincere, good people, but they're not fully Christians.
No, that's
So
fine. I just wanted to clarify your religion. So that being said, I assume that you believe that you communicate with God in some way, or He communicates with you in some form or another.
yeah, through His Word.
Um, yeah. So I guess the next obvious question would be: is there any way that we can verify that? Is there a method you have to differentiate a divine communication between something that's just taking place in your own head?
Yeah, you can go buy a King James Bible, and I can buy a King James Bible.
Right.
Or
But that's kind of what I'm talking about, is those revelations that you're saying are from God. Is there any way that you can verify that those are in fact from God? Do you have that?
there's several different ways. Are you talking about like verifying if the Bible is the Word of God? Like how do we
I'm just
prove?
asking if you have a method to differentiate between something that's a revelation from a divine being and something that's just taking place in your own head.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
what would that be?
Many different things like internal evidence as far as the claims that it makes, the writers, the different writers, the time frames, the copy of the manuscripts, the time frame of the 1400-year difference from the Old Testament, New Testament.
But like
Um,
what specifically? Like what method would you use? Because you're saying that you communicate with this God, so I would ask, how can we verify that? So just saying all these different things, like what's the actual method you would use to verify that that is in fact coming from a God?
okay. Let me make sure I understand your comment or your question. How do I verify that God is? Say it one more time.
How can you verify that these things that you're saying are coming from a God? This in these ways that you're saying he communicates with you. That's the claim you're making. I'm asking how you can verify that claim, and how you can show that it's not just taking place in your own head.
Well, I tried to explain it very simple. So like you go get a Bible and I get a Bible and we read it and it says the same thing.
I believe that multiple copies of the same Bible will say the same thing. That's not really what I'm asking at all. I'm asking these things that you're taking from God, that you're saying that He's communicating with you. How can we verify that that is in fact coming from a divine being?
So it sounds like your question is basically like if I say something from the Bible, you're saying how is that not in my own head? But then your question turns around and is saying how can you prove that the Bible is the inspired word of God? So I don't really quite understand because I answered the first one. So we would determine it's not in my head. Like you could read the
Well,
Bible.
you didn't answer. You didn't give me a method we could use to verify whether or not the ways that God reveals Himself to you are actually a God.
Okay.
You haven't given me a method for that yet.
Well, I did say about internal things about the Bible, like you look at all the evidences, and so
Yeah, like that's what I'm asking for right there. Is like, what would that be? What? How could we determine that? What are those evidences?
well, there's a bunch. So how long do
What's
you
the
want to
best
say?
one?
Huh?
Just give me the quick best one. What's the best thing you got?
Well, you don't just go off of one. If you ever watch these crime shows and they're trying to solve a crime, and they
That's
say,
good.
"Oh,
No, I hear you. That's a good point. But let's just start with what's your best one.
okay, well, we can look at. Have you heard of scientific foreknowledge?"
Scientific foreknowledge. No. Is it evidence that is able to verify whether or not these things you're saying do in fact come from a divine being?
So scientific foreknowledge basically proves that the writers had to be inspired because they say things that are in the Bible before we really even had modern technologies to discover these things were possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you give me an example of that? Because you're
Yeah,
kind of just stating more claims. I want the actual evidence.
yeah. So Isaiah 40 in verse 22 talks about how the earth is a sphere. And so, of course, we used to think, remember back in school when we used to think the earth was flat? Well,
I don't know what school you went to. I don't think any public school in the United States teaches that or has taught that for the last 2 decades or so, or probably much, much longer. Actually, I would go out on a limb here and say the past 100 years or so.
I'm talking about when we learned in school about Christopher Columbus and all those guys at that time frame. You
Oh,
know,
sure, but doesn't the Bible also say that there's a glass dome over the earth and that snakes can talk and that we were born from that all humans came from a selection of two different people? So if we're taking as a scientific book, then we need to take it as a scientific book, and there's a lot of scientific just flat out inaccuracies in it. So why should I attribute this one to any sort of divine truth?
well, which example do you got? Because you just made a claim too.
Yeah, so the examples that I gave were one that we came from Adam and Eve, two specific humans, which is just verifiably false. Another thing is that snakes and donkeys can talk, which is verifiably false.
Wait.
Another thing is that there's a glass dome over the earth, which is verifiably false.
Okay, so you mentioned three. So let's talk about Adam and Eve. So you got proof that Adam and Eve were not the first human man and
Yes,
woman.
I do. If we came from two humans, any two humans, there would be clear evidence of that in the genetic code, which is there is not for. What we do see when we look at the genetic code is that we came from a cluster of a couple thousand, more than a couple, maybe like 10 to 100,000. That's what the genetic code shows us.
You know all this?
And also, if we were to come from two people, you realize that would make every single person at least.
You can't just take over. I was so polite. I mean, can you not have a back and forth? So hey,
Yeah, you asked me a question, I'm answering it.
well, no, you're rambling on. You're making all these statements again. See, I can get on here and say science has proven we come from a man and a woman. Science has proven that Adam and Eve was the first one. Science proves that we have the same code. See, you're just rambling, no proof. So
Well, no, I'm saying when we look at the genetic, when we look at the genetics, these things are telling.
Genetics pulled up. You're just saying things. When you look at the genetics, you don't have the genetics pulled up, sir. So
Oh,
stop.
okay. Do you want me to pull them up?
Hey, so this is what we'll do.
All right.
So would you like to come on my YouTube channel and we would have a StreamYard debate and we can set up an hour to an hour and a half discussion?
Well, we're talking right now.
No, where we can see the facts. I can bring up the facts on a PowerPoint slide in the scriptures instead of just saying back and forth like children on a playground. Would you accept the debate offer to prove the Bible is the Word of God or does God exist in a civil StreamYard that's free?
Yeah, sure, man.
You will do that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what's
I
the
don't
date?
think that'll be much of an issue.
Yeah, what's the date?
I don't know. So back to the point at hand, though.
Oh, no.
Do you have anything that can show?
This. I'm not going to keep going back and forth. I'm about to eat lunch, and
Oh, okay. If you want to run away, you can run away.
so you're not going to debate me? I'm going to run
No,
away.
you absolutely can.
No, you said I'm going to run away, but even though I'm the one offered to debate you.
Well, I'm here right now. We can talk about anything you want right now.
Yep, you're on the playground on TikTok, but let's have a civil, organized debate where people can see the proof. You're just saying a lot of things. I want to see where you're getting your evidence. Like if you have.
Well, it'll take me probably 10 seconds to pull up if you want.
Okay, sure, pull it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Google.
All right, I got it. You ready?
Yeah, we got it.
All right. Do you want to type it in? I got a website and an article name for you.
I thought you were going to pull it up. So why am I having to do all your work for you?
Oh, you want me to share my screen? You're the host. You're the one with the camera. I thought you'd want to see it. And you're the one that needs to be shown the evidence, so you're the one I'm showing it to.
Okay. Send me the website.
All right, you ready? Here, I'm gonna go back and remember it because it can't get my voice when I'm off the screen. So give me a sec here.
Okay, Google it. Google is your authority.
No. Good reason and evidence is my authority. The evidence is biologos.com, and then let me get the article name for you.
Biologos.
Hey, can you hear me?
Is it the one where it says like common questions and stuff like that?
No, sorry. That was just the container. The name of the actual article on the website is What Genetics Say About It.
No, I'm just talking about the website in general. Is it BILOGOS?
What was that?
The website is general BILOGOS.
Yeah, you can just look up the article title too. As long as it's the one on biologos.com, that's all you need. And that is
Is it .org or .com?
.org.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. So there's another website I would encourage you to get to. It's called
Whoa. One thing at a time. What's wrong with this one? Can you find a contradiction in the evidence I just gave you that you said you wanted?
No, I didn't see the article yet. I just pulled up the website. What's the name of the article?
The name of the article
Dude, you cut off.
is called "What Genetics Say About Adam and Eve."
Does it have a? I guess I could put it in there.
That's the name of the article, and then the name of the website is biologos.org.
Yeah, I got the website. So we can do that in the debate. We can just discuss about one of those is your arguments, I guess, if you want to bring up. So, when do you want to do this?
Right now?
When do you want to set this up on StreamYard?
I don't know. I got a crazy schedule, but I just want to double check. You're not going to engage with this right now? You're going to put it off?
So you're not going to debate me? You're just making excuses about your crazy schedule?
Well, I'm here right now, and I got time right now, and I just presented you with everything you asked for, and you're still trying to pivot away to something else and saying that, oh, we should talk about it another time. But we're both here right now. I gave you everything you wanted. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah, let me get you a website as well that says we came from Little Green Men. So since it's a website, it must be true.
No, I don't think because it's a website it's true. I think it's because they list good reasons to show that it is true. And also, it's not just a website. It's a .org, which to a certain degree gives it some credibility over any other .com. I'm not saying that's why it's true. I'm saying that it gives it intentional credibility to why its good reasons are, in fact, good reasons. And really? You don't know because you didn't read the article yet. So what are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit on another hour and read this article whenever you said you...
Oh, bummer. Well, you asked for evidence. There it is.
There you go. Run away. Don't debate me then.
Look, man, I did exactly what you wanted in order to prove my case.
That's what I'm saying. He wasted time. That dude ain't going to debate me. I'm trying to set up an organized debate with an atheist, and he's too scared. And like I can pull this website up and let everybody read it. It's like, I told him I'm about to go to lunch. I mean, why don't he want to just set up a civil debate and discuss this? They ain't about that. They're TikTok warriors. How you doing?